Hello everyone, it's Mrs. Wallace again. I'm just going to do this last question. This is the question that was given to you at the end of class. This is about Justin's pet rocks. Okay, so we'll take a look at this question. The one thing that's really different about this question is that it notes in the beginning of the question, it's an increasing costs industry. Just to remind you, the increasing, decreasing, or constant costs refers to the industry as a whole. It relates to what happens to resource prices, either staying constant or increasing or decreasing. Remember, resource prices affect the ATC. And we're only really interested in increasing and decreasing and constant costs when we have a move to the long run. Because when we move to the long run, firms enter or firms exit. And when that happens, we are interested in how much firms will continue to enter or will continue to exit, and that has to do with the type of industry it is. The higher the costs are going up, the fewer the firms are going to enter into the industry, okay? So take note when you're reading these free response questions that you note, is this an increasing cost industry, constant cost industry, etc. So we're looking at the very first part of this, always drawing the side-by-side graphs, and we can use the proper markings for our labeling. This is the quantity in the firm, price in the firm, quantity in the market, price in the market. For part B, we have firms in the pet rock industry received a massive lump sum subsidy of 10 grand from J. Wallace International. This is something now we're getting really good at, these lump sum subsidies. This is the ATC. That would now be, let's call it ATC2. It's a decrease in ATC. So show any effects of the lump sum subsidy on Justin's firm in the short run. Note changes in price and quantity. Well, there's absolutely no change in quantity because the profit maximizing quantity is still exactly the same because MC didn't shift and MR didn't shift, and price is also exactly the same. The firm is taking the price from the market, and the market price hasn't changed as a result of this decrease in ATC. Had there been a change as a result of the marginal cost curve shifting, then we might have seen a resultant price shift in the market. In any case, based on the status of Justin's firm after the subsidy, a long run correction will occur. And we know this is going to be the pattern. You're in the short run, then there's a long run correction. Then you're back in the short run, long run correction. So this process of like a market stabilizing or getting to an equilibrium point is kind of what we're looking at. It's just a cycle of short run, long run, short run, long run. So the long run correction here is going to be firms entering. We know that because this is a firm making a profit. The ATC decreased as a result of the subsidy, so the price is still at PF, but rather than minimum ATC equal to price, now you've got an ATC. It's not minimum, but you've got an ATC that is much lower than before. So we could even shade that profit if we wanted to. And because this is a firm making a profit, we're going to see the supply curve shift. Now, if this was a constant cost industry, the supply curve would shift up until the point with this, second ATC because of the subsidy, and the supply curve, would show us a price, would increase to the point where price was equal to this minimum ATC2. But because this is an increasing cost industry, the supply curve is going to be shifting like a little by little. As the supply curve shifts to the right because firms are entering, we're going to see the ATC curve is also going to be increasing. So those two things are happening at the same time, and we will end up in a long run equilibrium, okay, with perhaps some slight profit, but likely not as much profit. It's hard to know without using, equations and actual values. But the questions that were asked as a result of the long run correction, what happens? What happens to Justin's quantity? As a result of the long run correction, Justin's quantity is going to have a lower price. Because of that lower price, we are going to see a decrease in the quantity for Justin, even if it's slight. It's a decrease in the price, so we're going to see a change in quantity because the profit maximizing quantity will say be here. What will happen to the market price? The market price is also lower. That's the same. I'm sorry, it asks about Justin's quantity will be decreased, the market price will be decreased, and the market quantity will actually be increased, right? As a result of firms entering, more firms are now in this industry, so you actually have more pet rocks, okay? Even though the price is lower and you have more firms, Justin, because other firms entered and they're now competing with him, he is actually providing fewer rocks than before. The other thing to note is what is the shape of the long run supply curve, because this is an increasing cost industry. Long run supply curve is going to be upward sloping. You're going to have a long run supply curve that's going to look like that. That's part D. For part E, is Justin's pet rocks allocatively efficient? Only or both productively and allocatively efficient. In the long run, in that default position of zero economic profit, this is going to be a firm that's both allocative efficient. MC is equal to price. It's also productively efficient because price is equal to minimum ATC. This very last one, Justin's firm is in the long run. The pet rock industry depends on paint and glitter that comes from overseas. Due to the global super flu pandemic, supply chains have been disrupted. The cost of these critical inputs have increased for Justin's firm and tens of thousands of other firms. What effect will this resource cost increase have on the quantity and profit for Justin's pet rock firm in the short run? This one question doesn't have to do with increasing costs because this is, a short run question. What we're really looking at here, and I'm just going to graph the firm here. So here was our firm in long run equilibrium, kind of a little bit of a strange looking graph, but we'll graph it like that. Here's our MR, here's our quantity, here's our price, okay? We have the supply chain, the cost of critical inputs. What we've seen here is a marginal cost increase as a result of the increase in the resources. What effect will this have on the quantity and the profit for Justin's pet rock? Well, we know that not only the MC curve shifts to the left, you're also going to have a new ATC curve. Because you have a new ATC curve, the minimum point should be there, so I kind of have that a little wacky. But once you have the new ATC curve, we know that Justin's going to be making a loss. So we went from zero economic profit to making a loss. So that's what's happening to his profit. What's happening to quantity? There is a change in the quantity because the profit maximizing quantity is now here. Because MR equals MC here rather than here because the MC curve increased. That means our loss is actually using this quantity here. Our loss would be using the increased ATC, and our loss would be measured by this shaded box right there, okay? This is ATC too. So I hope that helps, and sorry about that. Sorry, it's a little low tech tonight, but the computer was just giving me some difficulties. Any questions, ask in class, and I'll see you tomorrow. You can go to bed.